Hello, friends, and welcome back to r/IDontWorkHereLady. In this episode, we have two great stories. I hope you guys stay for all the stories today and subscribe for future videos. So let's get started. My little moment in hell. Hey, first-time poster here. This happened to me a while ago, and I thought you folks would get a kick out of it. I'd reported to work on this particular Monday, where I'm the site supervisor for an armed security account, only to discover that the blasted idiots that worked the night shift had not only left me an empty coffee pot, a mortal sin, but had entirely cleaned me out of coffee, leaving me naught but an empty container devoid of my much-needed morning caffeine. Inconsiderate so-and-sos. Grumbling, I go off to the local market to buy some caffeinated goodness so as to keep my heart beating through my busy day. Mind you, I'm in uniform, which means black pants, dress shirt with my badge and various security emblems, my duty belt with firearm, baton, handcuffs, etc., etc. For the sake of those squeamish folk out there that go all white in the face when they see a firearm, I have also donned a windbreaker with a security written across the back in 6-inch high day glow yellow letters. In other words, I looked nothing like any of the folk who worked at this market, whose uniform consisted entirely of a green apron. Now, mind you, I probably could have handled this better, but I was grumpy. It was a Monday morning without coffee, after all. So, I'm standing just inside the door of the market, reading the chalkboard where they have written their menu for the small cafe they run, when this entitled wench, hereafter referred to as EW, on her cell phone, walks up to me and tries to hand me a slip of paper. Okay, I'm a bit confused, but I take it and give it a look. As soon as I do, EW makes a little shooing motion and walks away and sits down at a bench by the door. Never says a word to me, doesn't even really look at me, barely acknowledges my existence, and just walks off. So, I'm kinda annoyed, you might say. Look at this piece of paper, and it's a list of, you guessed it, groceries. WTF. So I wander over and politely inquire as to what exactly this is and why she'd seen fit to hand it over to me. EM. My grocery list, of course. Fetch them for me. I'm in a hurry and can't be bothered. I'm on a very important phone call. And again with the shooing motion. Now, I've been going to this market for almost 5 years, and I can assure you they don't fetch your groceries for you. So after some consideration, I very carefully rolled her list into a tight little ball, dropped it onto her lap, and loudly growled at her to get off her lazy butt and do her own damn shopping, turn around and walk off. I hear her screeching out something behind me, but I just ignore it and keep walking. Now, at this point, I'm seriously thinking that EW will take the hint, see the Dayglow letters on my jacket, and buy a clue. But no, EW is not that smart. She instead chases me down and starts yelling about how she's going to get me fired and I need to fetch her damn groceries right now. Trying to remain calm, I politely, honest, but forcefully tell her again, very clearly, I don't work here. Do your own damn shopping, lady. And I leave. Thinking that's the end of it, I go off to get a cup of wonderful hot coffee at the cafe and then move on to the Isle of Heaven, where I'm busily perusing their fine selection of lovely roasted goodness when who should appear but EW with a gentleman in tow. She's loudly berating him about his lazy workers and demanding I be fired on the spot. This poor gentleman looks confusedly at me, then at her, and informs her he doesn't work here. We don't employ security, ma'am. Being a bit of a jerk, I wave at her, give her a big smile, and agree with him. EW absolutely loses it, goes completely insane, starts screaming that I need to fetch her damn groceries right now or she's going to get us all fired, and she's an important person, and how we'll regret treating her this way, and blah-bitty-blah-bitty-blah. The gentleman finally gets a word in edgewise and again informs her I don't work there, and I don't have to do anything for her. That's when I can see a dim little bulb go off in her head and see a glimmer, tiny, but there's a glimmer of understanding beginning to dawn in her eyes. This dim light is, however, quickly squashed by her overinflated sense of entitlement as she promptly replies in the snottiest voice possible, I kid you not, well, he's obviously a menial of some sort, so make him. To say this got me a tad riled up is perhaps an understatement. So I shoved a one-finger salute into her face and told her emphatically to go screw herself. The gentleman quickly got between us and loudly told her, in no uncertain terms, that 1, again, I did not work there, and 2, she needed to get the hell out of his store, right now. EW literally screamed at the top of her lungs, no words, just rage, and started demanding to see someone in charge so she could get us all fired. And someone better get her damn groceries, and how she was going to sue us all, and damn it, didn't we know how important she was? The gentleman who I had naturally assumed was the manager promptly got right back in her face and yelled over her that he was the owner. His family had owned this place for 20 years, and they had never in all that time done someone's shopping for them. Ever. He then grabbed her by the arm and literally dragged her off towards the front of the store. At that point, I was just shaking my head in disbelief, but I just went ahead and made my selection of fine coffees and wandered over to stand in line and pay for it. As I'm there at the register, the owner came up to me and actually apologized for EW's behavior, and we shared a WTF moment. Actually ended up just laughing at how stupid EW was, or crazy. Either way, he even tried to let me have the coffee for free, but I thanked him and told him it wasn't his fault that EW was a nut, and I was fine paying for it. Now, you would think that was the end of it. I mean, it was crazy, but weird stuff happens. People are idiots, whatever, but oh no, dear readers, it would appear that we had both underestimated the depths of EW's craziness, because as we walked through the door to the outside world, who, to our astonishment, was waiting there for us? EW, it turns out, had actually called the police on us, and this dumb bee was out there screaming at the officer, demanding that we be arrested for not serving her, and how she wanted us both fired, and she was going to sue, and that someone had better get her damn groceries right now. My jaw dropped. I don't mind saying it. I was beyond shocked. I honestly started laughing at that point. This lady was certifiably nuts. Because of my job, we happened to work closely with the local police, so I actually recognized the officer that had responded to the call and gave Officer Betsy a wave when she looked at me. She gave me a grin and walked over asking me about exactly what the hell was going on. We both gave our side of the story, and the owner asked that she be removed from the property. Please, as she was at this point causing a scene. Betsy just rolled her eyes, walked over, and told EW that she needed to leave right now, immediately, or she would be charged with trespassing. Now, have you ever had that moment when you can see something bad start to happen, but your mind just can't quite believe it's actually occurring? Well, I saw it start, clear as day, as EW reared back and started to go off again, and yup, there it was. She actually jammed her finger into Officer Betsy's sternum. Not once, but twice. Might have been a third time. But Officer Betsy had it at that point, picked her up, flipped her over, and dropped EW on her head, landed on top of her, had her in handcuffs in record time, got back up, opened her door, slid EW into the back of the patrol car, slammed the door on her. We all just stood there, shaking our heads in total disbelief as EW started to scream and thrash about and kick at the windows of the squad car. She was still doing it as Officer Betsy drove off to the station. Saw Officer Betsy later on that day, and she told me that EW was still throwing a fit when they got to the station and fought the officers there like hell until they ended up stuffing her into a control chair. She was later transported to the hospital for a psych eval. No idea what happened to her after that. So, that's my I Don't Work Here Lady. Hope you enjoyed. Wow, folks, I'm completely blown away at the response this has gotten, so thanks for the gold. One of my few nice stories from my retail days. So, not sure if this belongs here, but it's honestly one of my favorite stories to tell. A few years back, I worked in a large retail chain. I won't name it for obvious reasons, but the main thing you need to know is I'm a young female and wore a standard all-black uniform, pants and a jumper. Our story takes place during my lunch break, where I was wearing the all-black uniform on my break in another shop. I was browsing in a clothes shop, getting ready to head back to work, as I did pretty regularly, when I hear just about the cutest voice speak up to me. "Hi, excuse me, hi." I try not to laugh because it was such an adorable voice, and then I see two cute little girls looking at me, both under the age of 7 if I had to guess. So I say, "Hi, are you okay?" And the older girl replies, "No, we're lost." So me being 19 at the time and never having to deal with something like this, before I think, oh God, what do? I then realize they think I work here. Which is weird because the staff at this shop doesn't wear a uniform, but a 5-year-old wouldn't notice, I guess. So I realize they want me to call their mom over the intercom. I ask who they came with, and they say their cousin. The younger girl then says some things, but all I can remember is that she stated her cousin was not an adult, she's only a teenager. What made me feel even worse for the poor cousin, who's probably frantically looking for these two little cuties, I then quickly try to explain to them that they did the right thing by coming up to me and not leaving the shop, and that it would be okay, not to worry, etc. I tell them I don't work there, and their little faces are blank, but I tell them I'll stay with them until we find someone to help. So I'm rushing to find someone who actually worked there and wasn't now 5 minutes late to go back to work. Once I did, I explained what happened, and the staff member was freaked out but said she'd look after it. Unfortunately, I had to leave pretty quickly, but I said my goodbyes to the girls and left them with the staff. I came back later in the day and was told they were okay and their cousin was found within a few minutes and everyone and everything was fine. Not exactly a dramatic story, but it's a quote I still use with friends to this day. Hi, excuse me, hi. Hey guys, thanks for watching and we'll see you in the next video.